Good morning, grade ones. Today I'm going to read you the story of the Ugly Duckling. It was a warm day in summer, and a mother duck was sitting all by herself on the nest at the far end of the pond. She felt rather lonely, for it seemed to her that she had been there forever. At long last, one of the eggs cracked open, and out popped a tiny duckling, then another and another. Before very long, there were 6 fluffy yellow ducklings doing their best to jump out of the nest. Then she noticed that the biggest of her eggs hadn't hatched. So she settled down to keep the egg warm underneath her soft feathers. While the mother duck waited, she watched her ducklings scurrying to and fro as they explored their new world. I do believe that the world is a great deal bigger than our pond, she quacked, nodding her head wisely. It stretches right up the farmyard, and that's as far as it goes, I think. That's the mother duck sitting on her nest, waiting for the last egg to hatch. It didn't take long before the big egg began to crack open, and a large grey bird with a huge head and a long neck came tumbling out of its shell. Oh my, quacked Mother Duck. You didn't look a bit like your brothers and sisters. I'm not even sure that you are a duckling at all. As soon as the other 6 ducklings heard all the noise, they scurried out of the reeds and gathered round the new arrival. Oh my, said the Mother Duck with a sigh. He does look rather funny, a bit strange, you might say. He's not like us, chirped the smallest of the 6 ducklings. Then the others joined in. He's not even yellow. His head is too big. His feet are enormous. His neck is long and skinny. And he's ugly. Now that is not so, said the Mother Duck. He's not ugly, he's just different. But sad to say, from that day on, the poor ducklings became known as the Ugly Duckling. Oh, the poor duck. So that's the big grey duck, they're calling him the Ugly Duckling. Mother Duck was eager to show off her newly hatched family, so she led them down to the pond for their first swim. When they reached the water's edge, the ducklings plopped in one by one, and soon they were swimming round in the water. Don't you dare come near us, the 6 yellow ducklings shouted to the Ugly Duckling as they bobbed up and down near their mother. Why, he's the best swimmer of all, quacked the Mother Duck. He may look different, but one day he will outshine every one of you. After a while, the Mother Duck led her ducklings across the pond and into the farmyard. The geese and the rest of the birds gathered round and stared when they saw the Ugly Duckling. What is that? hissed the farmyard gander rudely. He's the biggest of my new ducklings, the Mother Duck replied. He's the ugliest, crowed the cockerel at the top of his voice. The Ugly Duckling's 6 brothers and sisters chirped with laughter, and the rest of the farmyard birds joined in. Everyone was so unkind it made the poor Ugly Duckling feel very unhappy. Oh, the poor Ugly Duckling, look at everybody's being so horrible to him. As the week went by, the ducklings and their mothers spent more and more time in the farmyard. The Ugly Duckling was pecked and hassled all day long. They teased me because I was so ugly, thought the Ugly Duckling as he tried to get away from the other birds. One morning, a girl from the farmyard came in the yard to feed the poultry. Get out of my way, you ugly creature! And she threw grains from her bucket at the Ugly Duckling. Oh, that's horrible. There we go. She's throwing grains at him. That's horrible. The duckling was so shocked he tumbled through the hedge and landed upside down in a field full of sharp corn stalks. The sparrows and fences that were piercing on the branches fluttered up into the sky with fright. Everyone I met is frightened of me because of the way I look, sighed the ugly duckling. It must be because I'm so ugly. I should go far away from here and never come back again. So early next morning he ran away from the cruel birds in the farmyard. The ugly duckling travelled all day long. At last he came to a great open marsh where the wild ducks lived. Oh, poor little ugly duckling. You're not the prettiest of ducks, quacked one of the drakes, but you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. Away he flew. Week after week the ugly duckling hid in the rushes all alone. Nobody bothered him until one day a hunting dog came sniffing round. The wild duck flew off at once. There were men on the marsh carrying guns, and the wild duck knew not to stay. When the hunting dog discovered the ugly duckling, he growled and bared his teeth. Then he turned and ran off into the reeds. There we go, that's the dog growling at him. Even the dog thinks I'm ugly, said the duckling. This is the reason he didn't bite me. It was autumn now, and the weather was getting cooler day by day. It was time for the ugly duckling to leave the marsh and find somewhere away from the wind and the rain. After a long search, he came upon a tumbling down cottage. It looked quite empty. So the duckling squeezed through a hole in the door where the woods had rotted away. Okay, there we go. Squeeze it through the wood, and it's autumn now. Once inside the cottage, he hid in a corner and fell fast asleep. When the ugly duckling woke up the next morning, he was in for quite a surprise. An old woman lived there with a cat and a hen, and she found the duckling as soon as it was light. The old woman was delighted the duckling had come, and she begged him to stay. She thought he would lay plenty of duck eggs for tea. But her companions, the cat and the hen, had other ideas. I can catch mice, can you? Snored the cat. The ugly duckling shook his head. I can lay eggs, can you? Clucked the hen. The ugly duckling shook his head again, for he had no idea how to lay an egg. The old woman will fatten you up and eat you for dinner, you ugly bird, sneered the cat and then the hen. The bullying went on and on and on. So after a while, although winter had arrived, the ugly duckling knew he had to move away. Oh, ugly duckling. So that's the horrible cat and hen. So early one morning, before everyone in the cottage was awake, he squeezed out of the door where the wood had rotten away. As the duckling walked through the day, snowflakes began to fall, and at long last he came to a quiet lake. And there he stayed all alone. By day he swam in the icy water, and when darkness fell, he went to sleep in a hollow of an old tree. Oh, poor duck. One evening, as the sun was setting and a mist was drifting across the lake, the ugly duckling looked up and saw a flock of beautiful birds passing overhead. How I wish I was one of those birds. I could fly away with them and be happy forever. That night, he stayed on the waters, dreaming of those wonderful birds. But by morning, the lake had turned to ice. The poor duckling was frozen fast and couldn't move. Oh, the poor duckling. That's him on the lake and it's about to freeze. A farmer who happened to be passing by freed the poor bird and carried him home in his thick jacket. The farmhouse kitchen was cozy and warm, and the ugly duckling soon thawed out. The farmer's children were very young and wanted to play with him. It seemed like fun to them, but the ugly duckling didn't know they were just being friendly. He was frightened and tried to get away. So there we go, the children play with the ugly duckling, but he was so scared he ran away. He stumbled around the kitchen in panic. He knocked over the milk, fell into the flour, then ran across the butter. The farmer's wife clapped her hands, the children screamed, and the farmer chased him out of the door. So the ugly duckling fled to the lake and went back and hid in the hollow tree. He stayed there until the snow was gone and the ice had melted away. Oh, this is him being chased away. Spring came at last. The weather was warm and sunny, and great flocks of birds returned to the lake. Winter was gone, and for the first time in his life, the ugly duckling felt happy to be alive. Boldly he swam into the middle of the lake, then he spread out his strong wings and soared high into the air. He could fly, and he landed carefully at the edge of the lake. He saw his reflection in the clear waters. Looking back at him was a beautiful white bird. Oh, isn't that lovely? Look at that. So he changed into a beautiful white bird. He could hardly believe his eyes, for during the long months of winter, the ugly duckling had grown into a magnificent swan. Very soon, the other swans on the lake came gliding across the water to make him welcome. "Are you on your own?" asked one of the swans in the kindest way. "Please come and live with us," said another. No words can ever describe how happy this made the beautiful new swan feel. The new swan's dreams had come true at last, and no one could ever call him ugly again. The end. So there we go. He lived happily ever after with all the other swans. I hope you liked the story, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.